Oh, I'm just kidding. Good morning, everyone. Actually, not blinking that whole time, my eyes started burning. What's going on, everybody? Good morning. Good morning, and welcome to the PreStream podcast. I'm just being goofy today. Hello, I am Phil. I am Philium. That's what everyone calls me, Philium. I didn't know if you guys knew that. That's my nickname from over the years. And I am here to chill with you today. For now. Until we start playing Elden Ring, and then I'm here to be all stressed out and get the shit kicked out of me. How you doing? Hopefully you guys are doing well. And you're ready for some fun here on the stream today. Weekend. It's Saturday, right? So it's the weekend, and a lot of people actually swing by my streams, particularly on the weekend, because they can. During the week, they're a little bit busy with work or school or whatever it may be, and then they come chill with me for weekend gaming fun, and I'm happy about that. If any of you are coming by today because you're free, well, welcome. Anyway, welcome to the PreStream podcast for Saturday, the 9th of April, 2022. We're essentially halfway through my streaming week. We still got 3 more full streaming days lined up here. And we got some good stuff. We got returning games to the late night streams. We've got a brand new playthrough that started yesterday. We've got a good variety of stuff going on, and I'm excited about that. Of course, it's spring, and I do have allergies, and today it's not that bad. Like, yesterday was real bad. Like, yesterday when I started the PreStream podcast, it was like overload. It's not that bad today, but I basically have to make sure I don't sneeze, and, oh, my face is still itching, and like, it sucks, but what can you do? It always lasts a few weeks, and then it goes away. So how's everyone doing? I hope you're all in a good mood. Hope you're ready for some good stuff over the course of this weekend. I know I am. I'm ready. Today I'm actually pumped for Elden Ring. Alright? After playing this game for about a month and 2 weeks, not even, but almost a month and 2 weeks, about a month and a half, we're still firmly making progress, still exploring. The game, yes, has that much ridiculous amounts of content to actually support the playthrough this lengthy. And I think at this point we're just about 90 hours in. Yes, 90 hours in. We're in Volcano Manor. And I just started a new build. Yes, 90 hours in, I started a new build. Dual wielding. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see how it goes today. We're going to get as far as we can. I'm told I shouldn't beat Volcano Manor. Instead, when I'm about to end, I should leave and continue to explore eastward, finish up the Volcano Manor assassination quest line, and then go back and do the final boss. So, I guess we'll see. But I'm pumped for today because I didn't play it yesterday, and that means I'm not like overexerted, overstressed out. I'm actually craving Elden Ring today. I am. I'm actually ready for the challenge. I'm ready for the deaths. I'm ready for it today. I'm not tired either. Like, see, I'm like energetic today. I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm raring to go with Elden Ring. So I hope that it's going to be a good stream of you know, legacy dungeon style stuff at first with Volcano Manor, and then hopefully, and I mean this, hopefully, interesting open world exploration as we head eastward out of the capital city. As I've told you guys over the course of the playthrough, I feel like the open world exploration is the weak point of the game at this point, and I'm wondering if when we start exploring east of the capital city, will it still be interesting, or is it going to kind of like get, you know, underwhelming? I don't know. We're going to find out together, okay? Cursed Hex Fusion says, between this and Lego Star Wars, you might be booked for the rest of the year. Well, we're going to talk about that in a moment. Lego Star Wars, which I started yesterday, and some discoveries I made about the game, and I was like, whoa, blown away. Okay. So, yeah, I'm pumped for today. I am. Hope you guys are too. I'm pumped for the whole week. You know, 3 more straight days of streaming, which is excellent. Before my day off on Tuesday, and you know, all the new stuff coming this month. And when one of the major reasons I'm actually excited for April is because we don't have nonstop new releases, and because we don't, this will be a catch-up month for me. And what I mean by that is all these things that happened in the last couple of months that I didn't have a chance to check out, or things that we had been doing previous to these 2 crazy months of new releases that now I can actually go back to and check out, which I didn't have the opportunity to. things that we had been doing on Game Pass that I was really enjoying, and then we'll go on hiatus for a long time, right? So, that being said, I am excited for April in a big way, and we're going to talk about that as we get into the schedule. Gaming news-wise, there's not too much going on. There's 2 gaming news stories today to talk about, but they're not very lengthy. They're little things to kind of gloss over and mention, but nothing too crazy exaggerated or whatever. So we'll talk today. We'll have a little bit of Q&A, open Q&A and everything. Speaking of Q&A, Ask the King has been on hiatus for like a month and a half. It was supposed to happen, if you remember, either in late February or early March. That didn't happen, right? It's just been delayed. So finally, I think this month we can do Ask the King because we will not have new releases hindering it. I think the best time to do it would be in like a week and a half's time, because I don't think doing it next week would make sense, being that it's already less than a week away. So I think what I will do is keep reminding everyone, hey, Ask the King's coming up. Hey, Ask the King is coming up. And then you guys can post up your questions for it on the forums by using the Ask the King link. If you don't know what I mean by that, if you type !Ask the King into the stream chat, when the stream is live, a link will be posted up by which you can click on and go post on my forums. And that allows you to post up your questions for the show. Or you could just head over there, DSPGaming.com, and on those forums, there's a section for Ask the King where you can post up your questions. Now, the date on there is wrong. I think the date still says March. But you can ignore that. This is obviously for the next episode of Ask the King that'll be taking place in about a week and a half, okay? So I will update everything soon, with proper dates. I'll probably let you know the exact date, because basically it won't be this coming week, it'll be the week after. But you might even say, what is Ask the King? I know. So people have no idea. I don't do it that often anymore. So here's what Ask the King is in a nutshell. Unlike a daily stream, where you guys frequently toss questions at me, and I'm trying to either like play a game or do a podcast, and off the cuff, I'll just give you an answer. Blah, blah, blah. Phil, what's your favorite game of the last 6 months? I don't know. Blah, 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 blah. And I just toss something out there. With Ask the King, you guys ask me the questions ahead of time, all right? And I have time to read through them and pick the ones that I feel I can give the most interesting, informative, entertaining answers. And then I answer them in long form on an actual show that's only for answering questions. You see the difference between, I'm doing a show and I answer some questions during the show, but that's not really the focus, versus, the whole point of the show, the focus of the show, is answering your questions. The way this started was way back when, over a decade ago, my early formative years as a YouTuber. All I did was gameplay. That was it. There were no Q&A videos. There was no vlogging. It was just gameplay. And people wanted to talk to me and ask me questions. So they would actually send me messages on Xbox Live. Unsolicited. It wasn't like I said, hey guys, send me questions. They would send me friend requests, questions, all kinds of random shit on Xbox Live. And then one day I started filming my responses, although they were comedic responses. It wasn't meant to be serious. It was basically me making fun of everyone who had sent me these messages. I made 3 videos of this. I called it Friend Request Ridicule, okay? I made 3 videos of this. People loved it. But after making a few episodes of this, I kind of realized that it was very mean-spirited, because a lot of the people who were sending me these messages were just innocently trying to reach out and say, hey, what's up? How you doing? And I have a question. And sometimes it was kids. And after making 3 episodes of this, I was like, man, okay, I kind of feel bad because I'm making fun of kids and stuff. So maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe instead, I should give people a real means to reach out and contact me and have questions. This is before the era of live streaming. So I created Ask the King, the show where you could submit questions on my forums, and over time I would review them, and then I would have a show where I would sit down for a few hours and just answer everyone's questions. This show began, if I remember correctly, it was either 2010 or 2011. So you're talking, this show has been running over a decade. And people, essentially, it's gone through different forms. At first it was just on demand, then it became a live stream show, then it became live stream interaction during it and stuff like that. So it has changed over the years. But what's funny about it is, as I do the show today, I say, every time I do the show now, I say to people, do we really need to keep doing it? Because every day now is an interactive stream, right? Like, you guys right now could have an opportunity to tag me in the chat, or you do a contribution, I give you a shout out, and I answer your question live on the stream. Now, Am I giving the answer a lot of thought? Am I sitting down and saying, oh, here comes a really intelligent, informed answer? No. 9 times out of 10, I'm talking out of my butt, because that's what you got to do when you're a live streamer. On the fly, you got to try to come up with some kind of an intelligent response to something someone asks you, and it's not always easy. Let me tell you, sometimes, every time everyone says, what are your 5 favorite things of this? Can you count down the 10 best? What do you think is the best of this or that? And I'm like, I can't do that. I'm someone who likes to think about their answers and stuff like that, and I don't think about what I think is the best or the worst or anything like that all the time. So for me, those are actually the tougher questions. On the flip side of that, a lot of people are able to ask me questions that I can intelligently answer depending on what they are. So, you know, I've gotten better at it over the years and everything. But I ask now, you know, with every stream being interactive, do we really need to have Ask the King? And every time I ask that question, there's a group of people, and I like to believe that they're probably my longest standing fans and viewers, who speak up and say, you absolutely must keep doing Ask the King. Even though the show is kind of outdated, it's basically a piece of your legacy. It's something that you've done for over a decade, that if you were to stop doing it, that would be like the end of classic DSP. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many shows that I've done and retired over the years. Release Day Unboxing, The Week in Preview, Cooking with the King, well, Poorly Cooking with the King. And yeah, to some extent, even DSP Tries It, which I almost never do anymore. Are all shows that used to be staples of my content back in the day. And then when I became a full-time streamer, essentially those shows didn't make sense to do anymore, and they kind of got phased out. So I can understand that some people are upset, and they're like, man, I really wish that there was still a remnant of the old days. And I guess Ask the King is that. It's that remembrance of how I used to do all offline on-demand content, and they really like that, right? So I don't mind doing it, but man, it didn't make any sense to do that show in the last 2 months. With the insane amount of games that had come out, the games that you guys wanted to see every day. Imagine me now taking time away. I'm already backlogged on the stuff. Take time away to do a whole day of Ask the King, right? It wouldn't have made sense. Eternal says, can we have Showering with the King? You already had 2 episodes of that over the years. So you can go check those out. Anyway, that being said, it's coming back. We're going to do it this month. Once again, now you saw how the delay. I think the last Ask the King I did was, holy shit. It was Holiday Ask the King, wasn't it? It was Christmas. Yeah. So here we are, 4.5 months into the year. We're finally doing an episode of Ask the King. So post up your questions. As I explained, you can type !Ask the King. That'll bring up the link. Or if you're not watching the stream live, you go to my website, DSPGaming.com. And there in the forums, there's a section for Ask the King to submit your questions. Please do. If you are a patron of mine, okay? And you pledge $20 or more at patreon.com/DarkSidePhil, you get your question answered guaranteed. You'll get a link where you can go and post up a question and get it answered for sure on the show, okay? Absolutely no one does that. I'm serious. Like, no one does that anymore. People who use my Patreon basically are legacy supporters. They watch the content on demand. They're not here on the live streams, and they want to support in an ongoing way, but they don't care about stream shoutouts, so they just pledge to my Patreon. So really, that doesn't happen anymore. It was a feature, something that I offered many, many years ago as a feature to pledge to my Patreon, and I guess it just kind of, you know, waned with time. People don't really care about it that much anymore. So, but anyway, yeah, Ask the King, not this week, but next week. 2 weeks, a week and a half from now. Probably not this coming Thursday, but maybe the Thursday after. We'll get the exact dates in soon, okay? All right, so let's talk about the schedule for this weekend. Today it is Elden Ring, as I already stated, Volcano Manor, and then Beyond. We're going to get to the end of it. I was told don't fight the final boss yet because you have to finish the assassination missions first. So then we'll venture east, check out whatever this new area is to the east of the capital city, and go from there. Okay? We'll see how much. I don't even know how long Volcano Manor is. It might be the whole stream today. I don't know. We'll see. Okay? I'm excited because we got the new dual wield build in place, dual halberds, right? And it's doing pretty great damage, and I'm having fun with it, so I'm looking forward to more of that. I'm excited for tonight because tonight's late stream is the return of Late Night Skyrim Anniversary Edition. Excuse me. This was a regular staple of my streams. We started doing it as a major playthrough in January, and then it became a night stream in February, and then it kind of went on hold for several weeks. There was just other things going on that I couldn't play it. Last week in particular, I was working on my taxes, so it was like, oh, it's time for Skyrim. Oh, can't play it. So it's finally coming back to the rotation regularly tonight. I hope you'll join me tonight, 6:45 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, for Skyrim Anniversary Edition continuing on. We're actually in the middle of a really good quest line. It's Creation Club content, which means it's new to the Anniversary Edition. It's a quest line involving Oblivion Gates and the plot line of Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. So it's exciting. I actually want to continue going with that. Should be pretty neat. All right, then tomorrow, we swing back to this week's new release, LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Let me give you a little bit of a summary of my thoughts about this game so far, okay? So far, it's entertaining, it's fun, and it's shockingly involved. What I mean by that is previous LEGO games that I've played, even LEGO Indiana Jones games, other things like that, typically, these games are mission-based, and the missions aren't very lengthy, maybe about 30 minutes long each, okay? And each mission has an objective, like gather a certain amount of LEGO blocks, LEGO pieces, during this mission, in the time frame that you have to beat the mission. It's not really a time frame, but it's more like before you do the final objective of the mission, whatever it may be, gather as many blocks as you can. If you gather enough, you get bonus rewards, okay? But then there's also puzzles and things you can solve that are additional to just the main quest line during these stages, and it's fun and challenging to try to figure out, oh, what's the extra thing I'm supposed to do? Where's the hidden item I'm supposed to find? It's actually quite fun. It's very addicting, actually, in that regard. Excuse me. Now, in addition to just the story-based stages that typically are in one of these LEGO games, this game has these big open-world roaming segments that transition between the stages. Just yesterday, playing the first movie chronologically, A New Hope, there was a story mission, an open-world Tatooine exploration segment, an open-world Mos Eisley exploration segment, then 2 more missions, and now we're inside the Death Star wandering around. So I was like, damn, in 3 hours, there was 3 story-based missions, but then like 3 wandering segments. So in 3 hours, I only beat 3 missions, basically. And the game has 45 missions, because each movie is 5 story-based areas, plus these open-world wandering transitions. So, damn, that's a lot of content, right? Like, think about that. 9 movies, 45. Jeez, if you do the math, that basically means that this playthrough could be 40 to 50 hours long, and I'm not even doing everything. I wasn't doing everything. I was just looking around randomly for random puzzles and things to collect, which I grabbed a few of. And it actually makes sense to spend a little bit of extra time trying to find the extra Legos and things, because there's upgrades in the game, and the only way you can get the upgrades is by getting the secret Legos, you see? So, I played it yesterday, 3 hours. I really liked it. Now, a couple things. Number one, the game definitely follows the plot of the movies, but it cuts out a lot of the filler. So if you didn't see the movies, I don't know how anyone could play this game and kind of understand them. I think you may be like, shit, maybe I should go watch the movies to understand it. There's some comedy aspect in it, which there always is in the LEGO games. I'm happy about that. It's kind of cheesy, but at the same time, it's a little funny. So that's nice. All the classic music, the John Williams score of the Star Wars movies is in this. I'm like, wow, this is great. The music sounds outstanding. But there's a problem with that. Because it's the real movie score, all the videos got claimed on YouTube, which I knew was going to happen. Anything Star Wars related you upload to YouTube, boom, it gets content ID matched and claimed immediately, and someone else takes all your money. It's stupid as shit. The system's broken. No, just because there's a song in a gameplay video, someone else shouldn't own your video. But that's basically what happens, okay? And so, what I will say is thus. If you, so far, have watched the first 3 hours of LEGO Star Wars and you like it, like me, I actually had a really good time with it yesterday. Please consider contributing or supporting in other ways than just relying on ad revenue. Whether that might be you want to become a channel member here on the channel. Whether that means maybe you want to do a super chat or a super sticker during a stream. If you don't attend the streams, you can offline do a tip. All you got to do is look at the description of my videos. There's a link to tip me at any time. And you could even tip specifically and say, hey, just so you know, Phil, this tip is for LEGO Star Wars because I like the playthrough and I want to support it. I would really appreciate that. Because this looks like it may be a lengthy playthrough. And I don't want to have a playthrough I'm playing for a month. And, it's basically, it means that now I have a downturn in my business. Which actually is what happened back in November. In November, I played Guardians of the Galaxy, Forza Horizon 5, and the GTA trilogy. I left the music on for all of those, and I lost out on a lot of income. Now, I like those playthroughs. I think those playthroughs were better for having the music in them. But man, I don't want that to happen again. Especially right now, things are tight now. And it would be really great if people like that playthrough, if they would support it, okay? So please do it if you can. Not asking for anything crazy or above and beyond, but if you can, please do, all right? So I like the game. I can't wait for more tomorrow. It looks like we'll beat A New Hope and head into Empire Strikes Back, which is pretty much everyone's favorite Star Wars movie, including mine. So that should be pretty exciting. Now, some people are saying, why don't you turn the music off? You want me to turn off the epic, notable music of Star Wars? Why would I do that? Why would that would be ridiculous? You want me to play silent Star Wars without dun 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 dun? What are you? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I want to play it with the music on, and I'm sure you guys want the music on as well. Okay? And what's totally hilarious about people saying that to me is many years ago, I was in a different mindset, and I said, guys, I got to make a living. I'm going to leave the music off on games like GTA and stuff, and everyone complained that the playthrough sucked because the music was off. So now I say, yeah, I'm going to leave the music on. Why don't you turn the music off? Okay. Anyway, so tomorrow is more Lego Star Wars. I hope you guys will join me for that. What I'm hoping is that it'll grow on people, because yesterday the stream started off with pretty good attendance, and then by the end of the stream we had dipped by about 100 viewers. That's upsetting. It's kind of like the whole Ghostwire Tokyo scenario, and I don't want that to happen again. I think this game is really good. It's going to be a lengthy playthrough, by the way, so I hope that there'll be an audience that'll catch on and come to support the game over time, okay? Okay, tomorrow night, Sunday night, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. We are in the post-game, meaning we beat the main story of the game, but there's still an entire 8th secret world ready to go, and apparently this is the most challenging part and the most lengthy stages of the game, plus there's an optional 12-stage challenge coliseum, so there's still good content of Kirby to come. I don't know if we would beat it tomorrow night or if we need another stream. Likely, I'm thinking we'll need 2 streams, but we'll play it by ear, okay? And then on Monday, there'll be more Elden Ring and more Skyrim to end the week, okay? Tuesday will be my day off. Now, let's talk about the near future, okay? Yes, Lego Star Wars and Elden Ring will continue to be the main games that I'll play. And based on what people are telling me, the feedback and everything, Elden Ring likely will be finished within a couple of weeks. Meaning probably one more week of major playing and then maybe one more week and we'll probably finally beat it, okay? Now, that's cool. Of course, we don't really need to talk much about that until like late April, right? But yes, we will need another major playthrough to kind of take over for Elden Ring at that point, all right? Now, in addition, Kirby is about to finish, okay? Kirby only has a couple more streams going, and then we have a late-night chill stream opening, and I talked about this yesterday, but there's tons of possibilities for things that we could do on a late-night stream for a chill stream. We could do MLB The Show 22. It came out this week. It's free on Game Pass. It's chill gaming where I just play baseball and interact with you guys, and we have mostly focused on the conversation and the interaction rather than the game. I've done this many years now in a row, and people seem to like it. It never really stays around for too long, but for a little kind of a chill deal, it kind of works out, okay? Or we could go back to some of the games I was already playing on Game Pass and start playing them more seriously, like One Piece Pirate Warriors 4, or Serious Sam 4, or I Am Fish, or do the final ending of The Forgotten City. Many games are sitting there on Game Pass, started and unfinished, waiting to be continued, okay? There's other things we could do, like we could go back to Dying Light 2, which has been on hiatus since early February, right? So we got options for late night chill streaming. We do. And I'm thinking in my head about, what would be the best option. Here's another option that's kind of outside the box. Instead of just saying, let's pick one game and focus on it as a late night stream, we can alternate. We could say, well, here's what we'll do. Skyrim will be a staple of the late night streams, but then every other night, we'll do a different game from Game Pass. One night we do I Am Fish, then it's Skyrim, then we do Serious Sam 4, then it's Skyrim, then it's Street Fighter, then we do, One Piece, you see? And because of that, I could have some big variety on the late night streams. Every night feels like a different feeling of late night chill. That could be pretty cool, and that's directly a result of having Game Pass. So that's honestly, out of all the things that I'm thinking in my head that we should do, I think that might actually be cool. You know what I mean? Like, that might be a good idea to alternate, and that way we're not doing the same thing every night. All right? So anyway, that's what I'm thinking. Now, Eternal just said, what about WWE? WWE would not be a night stream. WWE is going to be, if I play it, it's going to be a daytime stream where we go through the campaign mode of the game, which is called Showcase Mode, and then we start on My Career Mode, and we do that. Likely, if WWE is going to happen, all right, it's going to end up being a replacement daytime game. Like, it'll replace Elden Ring or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, we'll explore that later in the month, possibly, all right? Cool. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, all right, for the month. It's so good variety. You know, we got Elden Ring, Lego Star Wars, Skyrim, Kirby. When Kirby finishes, new chill streaming games coming in. We got Ask the King coming up in about a week and a half. When Elden Ring finally concludes, we got something else taking over, possibly WWE. Good stuff this month. Like I said, I'm actually excited about this month, not because of new releases, but because we get to do other things that have been left behind. I like that now I could go back and play a bunch of stuff that maybe I missed out on, or stuff that we started and didn't get to go back to because 2 months were just insano, right, for game releases. Also, all right, I will already start planting the seeds for this once Elden Ring concludes, all right, which likely will be probably through the rest of this month, I'm thinking. I will now be seriously considering the possibility of upgrading my setup. We talked about this for a very long time. Last year, I had serious offers from multiple viewers, either offering to buy me the individual components to build a new capture rig, or to just buy me a pre-built machine ready to go, so I can just get it out of the box, turn it on, install the software, get my setup going within like a day or two. Okay? Why now? Because Elden Ring was the big one. Elden Ring was the biggest game this year coming out early. As I told you guys, I didn't want to mess with my setup until Elden Ring was done, because that would make no sense. When people want Elden Ring content constantly, you don't want to have a big interruption in the middle of the playthrough because I'm now upgrading my setup and now I have no means to play the game because everything's screwed up, right? So the way I see it is, if we finish Elden Ring, that was the big project for early 2022. If I need to take a day off to mess with a new PC, and you know what I mean? I have the ability to do that now, right? So that's what I'm saying. And yes, quite frankly, I don't have the ability to pay for it myself. I'm being upfront and honest with all of you right now. I just don't. With the way that things have gone over the last year, every month, no exaggeration, is kind of like paycheck to paycheck. As tips come in, I pay bills. When I get my big payment from YouTube every month, that goes to bills. And really, I don't have a lot of freedom financially to do anything. But I already had, you know, the offers last year, and I basically had to tell people, let's hold off. I literally had 2 to 3 people contact me and said, we're very interested in helping you. And by the way, these were serious people. This wasn't like trolls. These were actually people who I know, who were like, hey, we want to help you out, you know, with a new setup. And I was like, we got to hold off. This just doesn't make sense. We got the hardcore gaming season of the fall coming up, and then we had the craziest early gaming season ever in gaming history, okay? Now, you might say, well, what kind of stuff will be upgraded? The rig itself. The PC I use is 8 years old, and it gets used all day, every day, all right? It's got problems. It's not the smoothest of setups, although admittedly it's the most stable computer I've ever used in my entire life. After 8 years, it's just too limited. I can't upgrade anything that I want. Right now, when I'm capturing and streaming, half the time I'm at 80% CPU. No exaggeration, okay? So I need a PC where I'm not going to be at 80% CPU when I'm capturing and streaming. I'm pretty sure any new PC will be able to handle it a lot better. I need an internal capture device, all right, that can handle 1080p 60 frames, above and beyond that as well. That could actually do HDR, all right? That can handle all these features that my TV does HDR. My TV does 4K gaming, but I can't do it because my setup is insanely outdated. I'm using an external capture card that sits on the floor, and if I walk over there near it, it says, dun dun dun, and disconnects from my PC, and now the whole setup's fucked up, and I got to restart everything. I got to, like, stay away from the equipment over there because it's so outdated, it's so old, that if I get near it, it malfunctions. Okay? So, in addition, this webcam is an old piece of junk. This thing I've been using for over a decade. I'm not kidding. This webcam is over 10 years old. I've been using this darn thing. Okay? I'm not to say it's a bad webcam, but it's just not good. It's not real 1080p. People want to see better quality. Every other streamer is using a better webcam than me, and I know that. Okay? I'm well aware of that. I can't upgrade the webcam right now. If I did, it won't work with my setup. My setup, like I said, already is being pushed to the limits of what it can do. If I were to put in a real high quality webcam or a digital camera and try to stream it through my setup, the whole thing would just crap out. All right? So I need a new PC, and once the new PC is in place and working, now we can explore new things, like a new camera, a new setup behind me, where in some cases when I'm playing games, maybe I could do a green screen or something. Like, they actually have setups like fold out green screen, so I could do the pre-stream podcast like this, and then I could say okay, and then zoop, put a green screen behind me, and now you could just see me sitting here in the chair playing games like a lot of other streamers, right? That's just an idea. I'm not saying we have to do that, because some people like the green screen idea, some people don't. A lot of people actually really like the background that I have now, because now there's something to look at rather than stare at nothing like it used to be. But you see what I mean? Once the equipment's upgraded, now we have the possibility of new things. All right? I've had a Stream Deck for 2 years. Someone donated it without me. I didn't solicit it. They just sent it to me. Here's a Stream Deck. And I got it. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? I can't use it because my PC runs on an old version of Windows, and this thing requires the newest version of Windows. And I'm not going to upgrade because my PC's stable. I'm afraid if I upgrade, it's going to fuck everything up. So it's been sitting there. I could use a Stream Deck. I could program it. So now over here, I could press buttons. We could have things pop up on the screen and everything on command because I'll have a Stream Deck, you see? So there's great possibilities of improvement and making things feel refreshed and new this year. But we had to get to the right time, and I'm actually feeling like this springtime, when things will slow down for game releases, would be a prime time to do it. The only other time I would think is actually kind of dead summer. In the middle of the summer, basically, there's also nothing usually going on. There was a couple exceptions. A couple years ago, we had Ghost of Tsushima, remember that? But outside of that, usually the summer's dead, so we could do it then too. But I'm thinking, why wait if we can get it going earlier? So all I'm going to say is this. I'm putting the feelers out now to those people who had contacted me last year and were interested in helping with a system setup upgrade and all of that. Once Elden Ring is coming to the end, which probably will be by the end of this month, I will definitely consider doing that now. Okay, I think now we're finally coming to the time when that would make sense. All right, so there you go. I'm just tossing it out there, and I'll talk a little bit more about over the course of the month. I don't want to talk about it every day, but every once in a while, I'll just make a reminder. Hey, I'm looking to upgrade the setup. You know, we'll see what happens. Okay. See, and here's the thing. People are like, why don't you set up tip skulls for it? I already had people offer. To help, so why am I going to set up tip skulls for it? Well, already people have said they want to do it. They like the content enough. They wanted to significantly see it improve. And I told them, let's hold off. They were ready to go. Someone actually was like, oh, here's a setup I like. I was like, whoa. Whoa. Calm down. We're getting ahead of ourselves here, right? Let's relax. We got to wait till we get to a point where it makes sense. And now it looks like it might finally make sense, okay? Okay. So anyway, there you go. All right, so the only other thing that I'd like to talk about right now, I want to direct your attention once again to the members' goal. We're now 9 days into April, right? We're about a third into the month, a little under a third. We're about a third into the month. We have seen members grow. About 20 members joined this month so far, which helps, and I appreciate that. But we're still a far cry from hitting the members' goal of 400 members. If you remember, the reward this month is something completely different than I've ever offered before, something outside of my own comfort zone, something you guys have asked me to do over the years, and I always said, no, I'm not going to do that. Now, I said I will consider, we're opening our horizons here a little bit. If we hit the members goal of 400 members by the end of this month, I am going to do a live reaction stream / video to a video that was made about me over 5 years ago that got over 6 million views on YouTube. It's arguably the most viewed video ever made about me. It's a video that outlines essentially my early history as a YouTuber and all the mistakes that I made during that time frame. And I feel like it's a video that at this point I have changed so much as a person and a content creator since those issues arose so long ago that I can look back retrospectively and say, let's talk about it. I'll give you some unique insight into what was going on and going through my mind at those points in my life and add to it, or admit that, yeah, these were stupid things that I did, because there's a lot of stupid shit I did back in the day. That's absolutely true. In addition to that, I can add more to it that you don't know. There's a lot of information about those early formative years that no one really knows or understands because I never really talked about it, or it's been lost to time. Like, I talked about it back then and explained it. Now no one remembers. All you remember is the dramatic bullshit that people said about me over the years. So, I think this would be a really awesome thing to do. Being honest, I do. I really feel that this would be something meaningful, something that we can all learn from, a trip down memory lane, but also an opportunity to react to some of the stuff that people have said about me over the years in a very fair and balanced manner, because I will admit my mistakes, and I've made many of them, okay? I think it would be cool. The video is called Down the Rabbit Hole Dark Side Phil, and it's, like I said, over 6 million views. Like I said, the most popular piece of content ever put out about me on the internet. So, pretty cool. What? I don't know. You guys are stupid. Someone literally said, why don't you watch this video and this video and this video? Okay. The whole idea is we're going to do something new and outside of the comfort zone, right? So you hit a goal to support it. Okay, cool, let's do it. If it works, now we can look into the future. Now, so Phil mentioned he may actually react to a video that's a documentary about things about his past, some of which is not some of the best history and it's kind of embarrassing. So instead of waiting to hit the members goal and have him do that and see if it's good, let me immediately demand that he review 27 other videos. Stupid. Anyway, so yeah, let us see what happens. I really hope that we can hit this goal. At first, there was a lot of excitement and motivation when I announced this about a week ago, and now it's kind of fizzled, right? Really, we haven't seen many new memberships. A lot of people renewing the memberships, which I definitely appreciate the ongoing support, but I definitely feel like there should be potential for people to want to see this video. And maybe they're just waiting for the last minute. Maybe they'll wait till the very end of the month to do it. I don't know. But I hope we can hit this goal and make this happen. This is something different. Like I said, if this is successful, if this works, not only do we hit the goal, but then the stream, the video, people like it, then we could do this with other things. How many people have made these videos about me over the years, right? So let's see what happens. All right. Houston Ray says, well, hypothetically, if this works, why wouldn't people drop their memberships right after? Because as I just said, if this works, this is potential for a whole new future of content. It really is. How many people have done this shit about me over the years, right? And I could make reactions to their content. But I got to get permission. And that's the difference between what I do and what others do. I'm actually going to talk to people and get permission. I'm not just going to fucking steal their content and do fucked up stuff like they do. Okay, so please consider becoming a member. In fact, Dine just became a member. Thank you, Dine, for becoming a channel member. Likely what I'll do is I will check the channel memberships right before we start with gameplay today and see how we're doing, and go from there. So Terry says, I think more people would sub if there was a criticism or a critique, not a retelling of events. The video is that, like, it's a documentary, but obviously it's calling out all the mistakes and things that I've done in the past. So, what are you talking about? I'm literally picking the video that has the most views ever about me, and that most people have seen to learn about me, and it has all that drama from the first few years. What are you asking for? What you want me to do, Terry? You probably want me to sit here and debunk junk. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sit here and debunk fucking conspiracy theories about me. That's stupid, because they're conspiracy theories. There's no valid shit to them anyway. Why am I going to waste my time? You want to talk about stupid shit I actually did and I'm embarrassed that I did and I've grown from? That I'll talk about and I'll admit, and we can actually, like I said, I feel like I can give intelligent history and background and things about what was going through my mind back then and all kinds of stuff, versus, oh, just respond to a drama video about you. Why? Don't you understand that when you respond to drama videos that are bunk, okay, you give them more power, as opposed to if you respond to actual shit that happened, You learn from it, and you can learn from your mistakes and grow. That's the difference. Okay. Itchy. All right. All right, guys. So, that's all I have to say. Let's move on to the gaming news portion, which is a very short segment today, because there's only a couple things to talk about. All right? First of all, the remake of Chrono Cross was released. Yes, that's right. And people actually had asked me for the past couple of weeks, Phil, are you going to play the remake of Chrono Cross? And I was like, well, first of all, it's a remake. So I'm not really too interested in it in that regard anyway. Again, I'm like, you know, not super excited. I never played Chrono Cross back in the day, by the way. I played Chrono Trigger. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite RPGs of all time. Chrono Cross was the follow-up, but not really a sequel, and it's very different from Chrono Trigger from what I understand. It changed a lot about the franchise. And essentially with this remake, okay, they were promising better graphics, some modernizations, and basically making the game, you know, better for modern audiences, although it would still live up to the nostalgic, you know, desires of those who, I guess, played the game back in the day. So the game came out, and apparently it's terrible. I mean, Digital Foundry, who's the guys who review games graphically and performance-wise, say the remake, the new graphics of the remake perform worse than the original graphics of the game. That if you turn it on new graphics, the game actually, it runs worse. And essentially, there really aren't that many real improvements to it. That it's like, okay, if you want to play Chrono Cross on a modern console, this is how you do it. But outside of that, all the promises they made about better graphics and remastering this and that, basically they fell flat on its face. It's not very good. It's another disappointing modern port of a classic game. So, kind of annoying. I'm not going to lie. It is kind of annoying that another game that we get all these promises, and then is it going to be any good? And we were just talking about this the other day. Oh, they announced Max Payne 1 and 2 is being remade as a modern... I'm like, why? Right? At least with the Chrono Cross, you can argue the original game is not readily available to be played. With Max Payne 1 and 2, it is. You can play them right now. They're digitally on all the consoles. You could play the original games. They were already ported. This is just doing it with better graphics or whatever. I don't know. To me, like, these remasters are like, I hate to say it, 9 times out of 10, they're a cheap attempt to make a quick buck, right? They're not really significantly improving the original gameplay experience. They're not trying to fix the game or improve it or make it more modernized. They're not even trying to graphically make the game look much better. They just want to get more money out of something that they made 25 years ago. So, it is disappointing to hear this. It does. It's very disappointing to hear this. And I wish that this actually come out and been good. But apparently it's not. Okay? Just to forewarn everyone. So am I interested in playing it now? No. Not at all. I'm actually zero interest in it. I'd much rather go back and replay classic Chrono Trigger than play this Chrono Cross remake. Okay? Now, in regards to classic games being played on modern consoles, I have another news story to talk about that is a weird one. Okay? So, there are now reports on the internet that overnight, some people who own the digital versions of classic PlayStation games have lost the ability to play them. What do I mean by that? Well, if you guys remember, I've talked about this actually within the last few months. Essentially right now, the only way if you want to play classic PlayStation games, and what I mean by that is like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PSP, and now I hate to say it, PS Vita. The only way to play those games, there's 2 ways. To physically own the original consoles and physical discs of the games. Alright? Which, how many people have that, or is that even viable? And of course, to capture that is a nightmare, because it's a whole different technology from back in the day. Or, if you had a PlayStation 3 console, still able to go online on the PlayStation Store, excuse me, a lot of these games are available to buy and download and play on there. I used to do this all the time. This is how I played most of the PlayStation classics, like the Spyro the Dragon series, the Crash Bandicoot series, literally all of the old Silent Hill games, okay? Dino Crisis, classic Final Fantasy games. I played a ton of games via this method, all right? And it wasn't only until December that they did a weird console update to my PlayStation 3 that bricked its ability to go online. So my PlayStation 3 is now an offline-only console. I can't connect it to the PlayStation Store anymore. And the only thing I could think of to fix it would be to factory reset it, which I don't really want to do. So I just basically just don't play the classic stuff anymore. Not that there's been a demand for it or anything, regardless. Now, recently, of course, there was a new announcement that Sony is now doing a new PS Plus program that's going to include not only the online component of playing games like it previously did, but now PS Now is fusing with PS Plus to become this tiered, structured thing. And if you buy the PS Plus Ultimate program, you're now going to have access to the digital versions of so many PlayStation 1, 2, PSP, etc. games through that on a modern console. So, if they are going to do this new program, right, it makes sense that probably what they're going to try to do is phase out the old ways for you to get their games. In fact, it was announced last year they were going to do away with the whole PlayStation Store thing on PS3, and people freaked out. They were like, but what are you talking about? Right now, that's the only way we can get those classic games. And even Sony management made dumb fucking statements like, who in the hell would want to play those old games? Like, they actually said stuff like that. It's like, you're running the company and you don't understand why people would want to play nostalgic games. Like, seriously. So anyway, now, what happened overnight is weird, and I'll give you my take on it. So, for example, some people have games like Chrono Cross on PlayStation 1 or Final Fantasy VI, the PS1 version. And they go onto their PlayStation 3 console dashboard, they go to the game, and when they go to boot it, the game says, error. Your license for the game expired. The license expired in 1964. Really? It even shows the date you bought the game. I saw a few of these screen captures, like someone had bought a whole bunch of classic Square Enix RPGs in 2014. So it showed their purchase date, and then it said, but their license expired in 1964. Like, what the fuck? Right? Like, huh? Now, obviously, this could be one of two things. It's either intentional or it's a fuck up. Personally, I think it's a fuck up. I think what happened was there was some weird timing or some arbitrary thing that happened behind the scenes. It wasn't an intentional change. Some calendar date was hit, and they likely had these license rights for games that were digital on PS3 that they thought, oh, no one's ever going to want to play those games on PS3 past like 2022. There's no way. By then, there'll be another way to play them, or people will move past these games. Right? That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they didn't really plan for this, especially with the whole situation where they wanted to get rid of the PlayStation Store on PS3 altogether. That was their plan. So they didn't have any kind of a backup plan or anything. They just like, that's what it's going to be. It's just going to be, they'll just expire. We don't really care about it, right? That's what I think happened. I think it's unintentional. This was not, oh, we planned this and we flipped a switch and now no one can play their digital games anymore. We basically robbed people. I don't think that's the case. Some people are saying that, oh, this was all Sony's plan. It can't be a coincidence that Chrono Cross just got its remake this week and now Chrono Cross's digital rights were rescinded on PlayStation 3. It's all a conspiracy. Oh my God, these people. So they put on their tinfoil hats. All right? They go online, start spreading their rumors. Just like this is what they look at when they type. They go. Just like that. Okay? So, I think it's a screw up. And I think what happened is Sony didn't plan because they thought they were going to turn off the store and then they didn't. And then they forgot about this. Like they forgot that some of the digital rights were going to expire this year. And I would not be surprised that if Sony does not fix this right away, that many more games will actually have the same issue. All of a sudden, games are going to be like, turned off, turned off, turned off, turned off. And they're all going to say this 1964 licensing date, because that's like the default date that they had put in there or whatever. Okay? Is it a huge deal? Yes and no. It's certainly not a mainstream huge deal for most people. They're not going to care. But for people who are collectors, for people who like the classic PlayStation library and spent a ton of money buying those games up years and years ago with the expectation that they would have endless access to said games, this is a huge concern. I own a bunch of digital games on my PlayStation 3. Like I said, I own the Spyro trilogy, I own Crash Bandicoot trilogy, I own all the Silent Hill games. Yes, I even own some Square Enix games, Final Fantasy VII. I think I might even own Final Fantasy VI, which is one of the ones that was affected. I'm not positive, but I know I own a bunch of games on there. Would they even work right now if I tried to play them? I don't know. I mean, I can't access them anyway since my PS3 was fucked up back in December. But still, the point is, I should have access to those games. I paid for it, right? It's supposed to be in perpetuity unless they shut down the servers. I should be able to play those games. And by the way, if those games are on my PS3, I should still be able to play them even if the servers are off. Fuck that shit. I have it on my PS3. It should boot, right? So I guess we'll see if this becomes a bigger problem or if this is something that, you know, is just an isolated problem, a glitch. But I hope it's, what I would say is I really don't think it's intentional. It sounds to me like some kind of a weird tech bug. You know what I mean? Like an unintended thing that happened, an oversight. You know, everyone was afraid when Y2K hit that because of the way that computers were programmed, that like at midnight when we hit the year 2000, that all modern PCs were going to shut down and crash and the world was going to end and shit, right? This is a case where it sounds like it's one of those situations. There was a date that was set in there as a placeholder date and never updated for when digital licenses would expire for these games, and everyone forgot about it, and now it hit like, oh shit, it's PS1 Y2K. Now you can't play the games, right? Hopefully it just gets fixed though. Okay, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. So anyway, that's really it. There's really no other gaming news. So what we'll do is we'll do shout outs, and then if there's time, we'll open up the Q&A. Okay? So let's do it. We'll actually start off with shout outs for YouTube side of stuff. We start off with Jack Anderson, who re-upped his membership for 3 months, and he says, good morning, my friend. Good morning to you, Jack. Welcome to the stream, and thank you for the continued support of the channel. Jade is here today. Re-upped his membership for 11 months and says, sup, Lego Star Wars, I love it. How are you? I love it too, so far, and I'm doing good. I'm actually invigorated for Elden Ring today. Excuse me. King just became a member for 4 months in a row and says, Rykard, Lord of Blasphemy. So Rykard, I believe they were saying, is going to be the boss of Volcano Manor, right? Yeah. I don't know anything about the boss fight coming up. Thank God I didn't spoil myself on any of this stuff, but cool. He's one of the Elden Lords, right? Isn't he? I thought they had said he was one of the Elden Lords who has a piece of the ring. I could be wrong, though. Dine became a member this morning. Thank you, Dine, for becoming a member. Toa Idar became a member this morning. So with all that, let's take a quick look and see how many members we've got as of this morning, since this is a running total we want to be updating since we're trying to hit the goal of 400 this month, right? Let's take a look. We're at 371. This is good. This is excellent. Thank you so much, guys, for your support this morning. We have gotten some new members here. Actually, we got more than it even said because some of those were re-ups. So that means we actually have a few new members that didn't click their button yet to do their shout-outs yet, which is perfectly fine. Less than 30 to go to hit that goal for the month. It would be excellent if we did that. Thank you, guys. Awesome. We got a super chat from Mystery Minis who says, Steelers quarterback Dwayne Hasmans died by a dump truck. What? You're saying the Steelers quarterback got hit by a dump truck? That's terrible. Damn. I don't know if that's true or not, guys. I know nothing. I wasn't, you know, I don't want to read that as a fact and then people go out and say that's not right. That's not true. But then again, I would hope that this person wouldn't say something like that and lie. If that's the case, that's very, very sad. I'm sure this guy's young. A quarterback on an NFL team is probably very young and in the prime of their life. Dwayne, I started typing the guy's last name. Damn. Mystery Minis, thank you for the super chat. It's true, people are saying. Wow, that's terrible. Dwayne Haskins. He was only 24? Jesus, that's sad. Hit by a dump truck of all fucking things. Taking his fucking trash out. I was actually saying this the other day. I say human beings have this weird, very illogical feeling of safety. We think that, like, we're safe, right? Oh, we're safe, right? We're home. Everything's normal life. Everything's good. Everything's safe. I don't think there's really any safety on this planet. At any moment, anything crazy shit can happen, and then you get hurt, you die, your family, it's fucked up. It really is, but it's kind of part of the human condition. Like, we have to understand that we're mortal, and we're very vulnerable at any time. Who would have thought an NFL quarterback walking in the street gets hit by a dump truck? Jesus, man, that's terrible. Well, rest in peace to this person. Again, I don't know anything about him. I'm not a sports nut or anything. But rest in peace to this person. Obviously, thoughts go out to the family. What the shit? That's got to be the freakiest of freak accidents, right? Jesus. Okay. Jason Smith says I should hold off from finishing Volcano Manor. I'll miss out on armor and weapons. I'm not finishing Volcano Manor. We're going to go to the last boss, and then we're going to stop. And then I'm going to do that invasion assassination that I have to do out in the mountains, I think it said is where it is. We're going to do that first, and then once all those are done, then we're going to do the final boss. But we're going to get up to the final boss. So, okay. Okay, on the tip side of things today, we start off with Chaotic Bacon, who tipped me $5, says, can I get an unbanned pimp? Thanks, fam. First of all, I don't even recognize the name Chaotic Bacon, just being honest. I don't ever remember seeing that name in chat, so I don't know who you are. And on top of that, I can't unban you via this method. This is not Twitch. If this were Twitch, I could look up your name, and based on your name, I would be able to find your account and unban it. I can't do that here. This is actually, in my opinion, one of the biggest shortcomings of YouTube, is that anyone can make a YouTube page or channel, but then they can name it whatever they want by changing the name of it, but it doesn't change the link. So, all right, let me give you an example. I want to actually rephrase this because it doesn't make any sense the way I just said it, okay? When you register an account on Twitch TV, okay, let's say I wanted to make Phil Burnell, which I'm sure actually exists. Someone probably stole my name. But let's say I want to make the Phil Burnell Twitch TV account. I create the, here's my login that I want. Here's my information. Boom. When you create that, your channel is twitch.tv/Phil Burnell, and that is yours, and no one else can use the name Phil Burnell ever. The only example that I've heard of people getting someone else's name is that they switched their name, and then someone else stole their old name, and they didn't think that they could do that, but they did, and now they feel stupid because someone else is kind of impersonating them. You see, I've heard of that happening before. But outside of that, okay, yeah, and outside of that, that's the limits. Like, when you make an account on Twitch, that's your account forever, and no one can steal it, and that's you, that's your unique identity, okay? Here on YouTube, when you create a YouTube page or channel, you do get a unique link to, that's how you get to the channel, but it's not your name. It's like a bunch of fucking characters, like capital X, lowercase c, 1 exclamation point. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bunch, it's like 20, 30 random characters. That's your channel. How the fuck are you supposed to remember that, right? Now, you get a name, but that name can be changed. That name is associated with that Google account, and that Google account name can be changed on the fly at any time. I know because I've done it. I've changed channel names before. So, sadly, what that means is that here on YouTube, there's no unique account names. Anyone can impersonate anybody else, which is really fucking stupid. But, of course, that's why YouTube actually has, what do they call them? Verified channels. So if you're someone who has a business on YouTube or a following on YouTube and you're afraid that people will impersonate you, you could have the verified channel so people know you're the real one. That's actually one of the reasons why I have a verified channel, to avoid impersonators, okay? So in the case of Chaotic Bacon, who tipped me $5, and thank you very much for the tip, that's the first tip of the day, saying, hey, can you unban me? No, because your name Chaotic Bacon literally means nothing. I can't even find that on YouTube. What I need you to do, Chaotic Bacon, is email me at darksidephil@hotmail.com, and in your email, you have to include the actual URL address of your YouTube channel page, whatever it may be. It could be the most garbled mess ever. I don't know, but I need that. Then I can go to your actual page, and I can see if you were banned, and I can unban you. Now, another major shortcoming of YouTube streaming over Twitch is that on Twitch, if someone says, oh, I got banned, can I get unbanned? You can click on them and find their whole chat history and see why they were banned. You could see if it was in error. You could see if maybe at the time they were kind of acting up, but maybe they learned their lesson and now they're not going to do that anymore. You give them a second chance. Or you could see if they were just a flagrant, real asshole and that they probably shouldn't be trusted to come back to the channel. You can make that judgment call. You can't do that here on YouTube. You can't see shit. And that's what pisses me off, is because YouTube promised that they were going to add new features and things like that, and then they never did. Now, did you guys know it's been over 6 months since they promised changes to YouTube streaming and have not added a single one? And this is why it was funny. They made those promises last year, late last year. I think it was like November. I think. It could have even been earlier than that, but I think it was around November where they promised these changes coming up to YouTube streaming. And at the time, I was like, that's great, but I don't even bother telling me about it till you do it, because I know how YouTube is. They overpromise and underdeliver constantly. They are infamous for this. They say, we're going to do this, 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 and then they don't do it. Or they take forever to do it, to the point that they do it, no one cares anymore. So in this case, January came, and I said, gee, isn't it funny that they didn't do the changes yet? And everyone said, Phil, you're just impatient. Just wait. And then February came, and I said, you know, all these new games are coming out. Boy, it would be nice to have all these improvements and changes around here. And everyone said, Phil, you're just being impatient. Just wait. And then March came, and I said, gee, you know, it'd be great to have all these improvements around here. Do you see the pattern? Do you see what I'm saying? This is an ongoing thing with YouTube. And I'm tired of it. They need to live up to their promises. Don't promise the world and then don't deliver on it. Just don't make the promise then. Everyone's excited for these new improvements coming to YouTube streaming. Where are they? By the time they come out, no one will care. So anyway, Chaotic Bacon, my apologies. I don't have the ability to easily unban you. I wish I could, but YouTube never improved. So you have to email me with your info. Okay? Thank you for the tip. Doomer Boomer Not a Coomer tipped me $1.50. That's disgusting. And said, Phil, we need WWE Pick Flair voice. I think he meant to say Ric Flair voice. Woo! So we got someone who really wants to see WWE on the streams. Thank you very much for the tip. I think that more contributions just came in over YouTube side. Okay, did a super chat and says, bro, any Elden Ring online play anytime soon? I don't know. I've heard bad things about it. I really have. I've heard that basically if you try to play it online legit, it's worthless. Everyone online has gotten the most broken builds and really messed up things that shouldn't be in the game, but they are. I guess everyone, right, currently the meta is bleed. Everyone has these fucking katana blades that do giant arcing area of effect slashes. And if you're anywhere remotely close to them, it hits you anyway. Even if you're dodging and shit, it still hits you. And then you go bleed, 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 dead. And that's like the meta of the fucking multiplayer. Wow, that sounds fun and competitive, doesn't it? Like I told you guys, the multiplayer has never been good in a FromSoft game. I've never played a single one where the multiplayer made any sense to play. So the game is already so lengthy with the offline content. I'm really not caring about the online content. But that's not it's not a hard no. It's a I'm not really interested right now. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we now have some time for open Q&A. If you guys have any questions you'd like to throw my way or any concerns, any comments, now would be the time to do so before we get started with Elden Ring, okay? All right. Eternal finally asked a question. I was waiting for someone to ask me a question and tag me. He says, where do you rank Demon's Souls? I rank Demon's Souls, basically, be honest, it's probably the worst one. It's still a good game, but Demon's Souls is very similar to, say, you know, playing Morrowind and then playing Oblivion or Skyrim. It's good to see the history of where the franchise came from and understand that these systems were then later on refined and improved to become a more modernized and more accessible game. But Demon's Souls is basically, you know, it's good, but I like the Dark Souls games better. I like Bloodborne better. Seriously. I would say, in all the rankings of the FromSoft games, probably the one I like the least is Sekiro, and then Demon's Souls is just above that, and then it's everything else. So there you go. Okay. Am I going to play Witch Queen? You mean the expansion for Destiny 2? No, I haven't played Destiny 2 since launch, and I've never planned on doing so or not talked about it, right? Toa Idar says, what's my opinion on older titles like Smash Bros. Melee still being relevant today when the newer games in the franchise have come out? It's kind of like the same as Street Fighter. In Street Fighter, we've had Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5, but people still go back and like the classics. They still want to go back and play Street Fighter 2 and feel that it's perfectly relevant along with the more modern games. The classics are still there for a good reason, right? Melee laid the groundwork for what that franchise would do in later iterations, but there's still people who want to play that classic game as it was back in the day, you see? So I understand. I completely understand why that community would want to still play the legacy games while also embracing the new ones. It makes sense. I love Super Turbo, but there's people who are going to want to play the modern Street Fighter 2. Joe Man, no, I'm not going back to Twitch. I've answered the question 5 zillion times. Why would I ever go back to a place where every moment that I'm there, feels like I'm walking on eggshells, okay? At any moment, they can claim I violated their partner program and not have to ever provide any evidence of wrongdoing and give me no recourse to actually have a reversal of the decision or even stick up for myself. On YouTube, if YouTube says you did something wrong, there's a process by which they follow. If it's copyright, there's a strike system. If it's a community guidelines, there's a strike system in place. On Twitch, we just do whatever we want. Even though they claim there's a strike system, they just bypass it anyway. That's what happened to me. They never said, oh, you violated, partner guidelines, so this is violation number 1, and therefore be careful, because if you do it a second time or a third time, you'll be kicked out. It was just, you're gone. Well, wait, what? Well, what did I do wrong? Well, we did an investigation. We figured out you violated our policy. How? Show me examples. No response. Why would I ever want to work there ever again? Are you out of your mind? How can I take my business, my actual source of income, and try to take it to a place that at any moment they just give you a kick out for no reason and never have to justify it? Do you know that what they did to me is illegal? It is. You can't just sever a legal contract like that without evidence that the contract was violated in some way. Without them providing evidence I did something wrong, they have no right to sever the contract. I could sue them right now for what they did to me. I'm not going to. I don't have the means, and I don't have the money, right? I don't have the time or money to do that. What they did to me was a legal infringement. But I'm not going to go back. Well, how dumb would I be to go back to the place that abused me and say, I want to get abused again, please? I'm not stupid. Take a look at the last year here on YouTube, right? What negative things have really happened? Well, there was a few videos that got content ID claimed. That's an issue. I agree. The content ID here system on YouTube is bad. They definitely got to fix it and improve it. I think it's stupid. I don't like losing revenue on the stuff that I do on YouTube because someone claimed my entire video because there's a song in it. All right? But outside of that, YouTube has been there, done that, and they've kind of worked out a lot of the shit. The good news is I haven't had a major issue here on YouTube in years and years. Not to say that it couldn't happen again or it won't happen again, because I almost guarantee you it will eventually happen again. There will be false claims. There will be stupid shit that will happen. It's bound to happen. It's guaranteed it will happen at some point. But I have worked out alternate things. If something were to happen to one channel, I have some alternate channels I can use in the meantime. Basically, I've got redundancy, and I've got enough of a following here on YouTube that if something were to go wrong, I'm good. On Twitch, if I get suspended or banned, it's over. What do you do? Nothing. There's nothing you can fucking do. So it would be a complete idiotic move. Completely stupid for me to go back to Twitch. I'd have to be the dumbest motherfucker on the planet to go back to Twitch. With the way they treated me and the way they've treated others. Not just me. Many others were treated exactly the same way and don't have a recourse besides suing them. Do I want to sue the fucking company? No, I want to make content. I want to play games and have fun. I don't want to be in a fucking legal battle with some dumb fuck company that mistreats the people who put out the content that make them money to begin with. So, fuck them. I'm not going back. Okay. All right. Oh, let's see. What's the difference between Hyper Street Fighter 2 and Super Turbo? Super Turbo is the original final game in the Street Fighter 2 series. There were 5 of them. Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, Super Street Fighter 2, and Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Super Turbo, as they abbreviated the last one's name, is the final version of Street Fighter 2 that has all new improvements, the most characters, super moves, everything. Okay? There you go. Hyper Street Fighter 2 is also called Anniversary Edition. That's a game that came out in the mid-2000s, around 2005, 2006. What that is, it's an amalgamation game that combines the versions of all the characters from the 5 different Street Fighter games into one game. You can play as the original Street Fighter 2 World Warrior Ryu and put him against Chun-Li from Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, the final version of the game. Is it balanced? No, it's not. And that's why a lot of people had issue with the game. There's certain characters in the game that are quite overpowered. Champion Edition M. Bison is ridiculously overpowered. Certain Super Turbo characters are just way good. And even certain Hyper Fighting characters are way, way, way good. So people didn't like it that much. It's not a terrible game, and it's definitely a competitive game. But people preferred classic Super Turbo to a version of the game where you had classic Super Turbo, but also other things added in that kind of made it weird. In addition, they tried to fix certain things in classic Super Turbo. For example, there are certain moves and things that are kind of glitchy in Super Turbo, and they became a part of tournament play utilizing those glitches. They tried to fix those issues in Hyper Street Fighter 2. People didn't like that. They're like, wait a minute. It's supposed to be representative of the original game Super Turbo. Why did you change things about the characters then? That's weird that you did that. We don't like that. So there you go. It's still a good game. It's coming out in June in the Capcom Fighting Collection. I'm going to play it. But people seem to overall like Classic Super Turbo more than Hyper Street Fighter 2. Personally, I liked Hyper Street Fighter 2. It did have some broken stuff in it, but I was actually quite good at it. But it died after one tournament season. So, okay. 672 has tipped me $6.72. Says, what about dual streaming with Twitch? It would be double the views and contributions. No, it would not. Number one, you cannot be in partner programs on both sites. It's not allowed. All right? Just not allowed at all. So I would not get any subs. I would not get any cheers. None of that would be allowed if I were dual streaming over on Twitch. They don't let you go into the partner program if you're making money somewhere else too. That's number one. Number two, hold on. If I were to dual stream and still have all features enabled on both streams, you would essentially be asking for double the moderation requirements. You would have to have moderators on YouTube and on Twitch, double modding or having split mods. In addition to that, you'd be splitting the audience. Right now, I'm trying to build my YouTube channel, right? I enjoy live streaming on YouTube, and I enjoy having an on-demand audience on YouTube, and I tell you guys, thanks for the engagement, the likes, the comments on the videos. It builds the channel. I already know that if I split my efforts between YouTube and another site, the audience splits. There's a split, and now there's no feeling of building this channel anymore because there's people going over to the Twitch channel again. That would make no sense whatsoever. Zero. If I'm building YouTube, I'm building YouTube. If I'm building Twitch, I'm building Twitch. You're not supposed to be building two things at once. It wouldn't make any sense at all. And plus, like I said, can't even make any money on Twitch because they wouldn't let me back into the partner program if I'm making money on YouTube. That's against their terms of service. So there you go. All right. Anything else, guys? Any other questions? We still got a few more minutes before I would start, but if we could end here if you would like. Where was I at Evo 2004 for the Daigo parry? I wasn't there. Is that when that moment happened? Was it Evo 2004? I wasn't there. Nope. Those are the years I wasn't attending Evo. I think it was 2005. That was the year that I went back to Evo 2005 after a long hiatus. Yep. No, I do not smoke weed. I don't smoke at all. Why do you need to moderate Twitch chat? Because despite the fact if you're a partner or not, you can still be banned from Twitch for bad things happening in the chat. They don't care about your excuses or whatever. If you operate a Twitch channel, you're responsible for what happens on said channel. And if you allow rampant bad things to happen in the chat, they will ban you anyway. It's not just about the partner program. They have terms of service outside of that as well. A modded Let's Play of Fallout or Skyrim on PC. I can't even play games on PC right now, so that's definitely out of the question. No, I'm not going to get a bicycle helmet for my hat rotation. It's ridiculous. The reason that I wear hats is just silly rewards for raising funds. And as I said, the hat has to be not intrusive to what I'm doing. Okay? If I wear a hat, it's intrusive to the gameplay experience. What was the point of putting the hat on, right? You've ruined the stream. A bicycle helmet is a heavy protective thing meant to protect your head when you're riding a bike, so when you fall, you don't hurt yourself, but it has weight to it. It's not comfortable. I'm not wearing a bicycle helmet. That's stupidity. Okay. Lice for Soul, I don't know about killing maidens in Elden Ring. I'm probably not even to that point yet, so you probably shouldn't even talk about it. Little Nicky, I don't have lifting tips for you. Stop talking about nonsense. A do-rag? I've never worn a do-rag in my entire life. I wouldn't even know how to do it properly. And I would look really stupid, don't you think? No, the Pikachu... See, here's the thing. Chaos Emerald says, so a bicycle helmet is ridiculous, but not Pikachu. No! Pikachu is silly fun and comfortable. This hat... I keep telling you guys this. This hat is really comfortable. No exaggeration. It's soft. It's thin. It's not a thick hat. So it doesn't necessarily heat me up when I wear it. It's actually one of the more comfortable hats I have. This is more comfortable than, say, the fake hair hat or the Skyrim hat. It really is. I like wearing this hat. I'm like, okay, I'm happy to wear it. It's cool. It's like they built it for comfort. They really did. If it was bothering me, I wouldn't wear it. I can't play on PC because my PC it cannot capture and play a game at once. If I try it, it maxes out my CPU. I need a new setup. It's an 8-year-old computer. Mystery Minis did a super chat saying, who uses Twitch besides bathtub streamers anymore? I don't know because I haven't been there for a year and I don't care. Oh, by the way, OK had also done a super chat earlier and said, how's the fam? They're doing good. The fam is good. Thank you for asking. Mystery Minis. There we go. Got you back up on the leaderboard. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to end the pre-stream. I actually got to use the restroom. So let's end the pre-stream. I'll do like a 5-minute break to use the restroom. When we come back, it's Elden Ring, Volcano Manor continuing on. I'm excited for this. Like I said, I think it's going to be a good dungeon. Since we can't finish it, we'll get to the end and then we'll explore to the east of Liurnia. Oh my god. To the east of the capital city, a new area, explore it. That'll be a fun stream for today. All right, guys? All right. Let's end the pre-stream. I'll be back in a few. Thanks.